Hello, friends. My name is Leon Gravesandy. I am an Institute of Integrative Nutrition Health Coach who works with clients to improve metabolic health through diet and lifestyle changes. Today on the show, we have Matthew Tull, who's been a carnivore for 5 months. Hello, Matthew. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you, Miss Lee. I am very well, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
And how are you doing?
It's good, good. Doing well. It's kind of hot here, so
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not sure if it might be hotter for you there in Tunisia.
Well, it can get pretty warm here. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking. You said you were a carnivore for 5 months, and then you. This is like your second time around. Can
Yeah,
you just
that's
kind of
right.
give us a little background about that?
Sure, sure. So, well, it was about, let's say, just now, about 2 years ago, I started trying to reduce my carbohydrate uptake. And because most people around here, they just really load up on their rice. I don't really enjoy rice very much, but then there are other things to eat too. So you can be very experimentative, especially in a country like Indonesia. There are so many things to try. And
Mhm.
so I tried to just reduce my carbohydrate uptake somewhat. Don't really enjoy being overweight, but I was, climbing the ladder of heftiness. And so that was about 2 years ago, started to reduce that. Then I began to learn more about the not low carb, but zero carb craze that was going on at that particular time. I started watching videos from Kelly Hogan, My Zero Carb Life, and Dr. Barry and Dr. Ekberg.
Mhm.
Started watching them, and I tried to reduce my carbs to zero. Right? Thought, well, maybe I can get on board with that and see what it'll do. And so I tried it out, and it was good. I lost a lot of weight. It was dramatic, in fact. I lost a lot of weight. But strangely, I didn't just lose weight. I was also starting to lose strength and focus and all kinds of stuff. It just wasn't good,
Mhm.
And um, most people were reporting great success on this particular diet, and I thought, well, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's not fit. And then also, we have a big family here, and so there are a lot of special events and things to get along with others. And they like to eat here, and they like sweet foods. So during holidays or get-togethers, birthdays, I end up having to eat what everybody else is eating. So I gave up and I went back to just standard fare
Mhm.
and lost more and more of my strength as a result. My body did not recover. I just gained more weight and got fatter and fatter. And then my left arm and hand started to lose its strength to a much greater degree. My knees got stiff and achy, and my ankles became near immobile. It was very painful to go up and down stairs. I couldn't do any kind of real physical exercise or bending. Yeah, it got pretty bad. And found some relief when I did fasting. So I tried that a couple of times. And if I would do a 3-day fast, of water only, I could move some more, and the pain would reduce. But
Right.
it didn't really give me complete recovery. Now, about 5 months ago, I decided to go zero carb again. My wife and I were out having a moment on the town, and I was having my motorcycle repaired, and there's a Dunkin' Donuts on the corner. And we stopped off at the Dunkin' and we picked up a couple of boxes, and we had a cup of coffee and some donuts. And while I was sitting there, a sudden realization hit me. I'm going to keep eating these, and I'm going to get fatter and fatter. And what good is it? I'm going to end up getting myself sick or dead. So
Yeah.
I said to my wife, I said, this is it. I can't do this anymore. I'm going to stop eating like this. I'm going to go back to carnivore and get rid of all these carbs and see what happens. And so that day I decided to start reducing down again. And I reduced down from that day to, well, say roughly about 2 weeks after that, I stopped eating carbs altogether. And I say that, but that's not accurate because I did have honey still in like coffee and stuff. But then
Mhm.
within about 4 weeks of that declaration, I decided to stop having near so much of that. And then within the second month of saying no more of this, I actually went full carnivore. So that's why I say about that's why I say about 5 months, because it's been about that long since I've really put down all the carbs.
Mm, okay. Did you ever try keto or, I mean,
Funny enough, yes. Before my wife
uh,
and I got married, we decided to go into a low carbohydrate cycle because we were trying to lose weight for our pre-wedding photos.
mm,
And it's a special thing they do here in Indonesia where they get together a photographer and a couple of bridesmaid type things and, yeah, dress you up and take photos in different places. Like there's a flower garden and lots of other things that they do around here. And the photos turn out really nice, but we were so hefty it wasn't going to look nice, And so we both went on a low carb cycle, and that was very effective. So my wife lost about 2 dress sizes, and I had to have my suit adjusted so that I could fit into it and get good photos. So the carnivore style or the keto style, either one is really effective at helping me drop weight. Yeah. So our
yeah.
rule was it has to be something that you could, that when we were eating, it was either something that was grown directly in the ground or it was meat. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't eat we didn't eat rice, or there were certain things that we didn't eat, like potatoes. We didn't eat that, and bread. We put all the bread down, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And what
Like
about, like, say, you know, maybe I'm not sure your age now. I don't know if you want to kind of talk about how old you are, but
sure.
how was your health when you were like younger, like maybe as a teenager or as a young adult? I mean,
Hmm.
were you in shape? Were you healthy? Was there a point where you started to maybe develop this metabolic syndrome or, maybe insulin resistance? Like, how
Sure.
long ago did that start and kind of how long did you deal with that?
Well, those are good questions. So, in my earlier years, I was fit. I was strong. I was a brick house. Yeah, I was real good, strong. Um, I could tear things apart with my bare hands if I wanted to. It wasn't hard.
Hmm.
I didn't really gain terribly much weight until my late teen years and early 20s. And I was very active. I was into martial arts, and I would walk everywhere I wanted to go. We didn't always have a car, so I
Hmm.
could walk for miles and miles. It wasn't a big deal. I never really enjoyed running, but then I've always been a very stiff person, so activities like that not really interesting to me. But when I started to really put on poundage and get unhealthy, well, we had lived in Kansas for a stint. So we moved up that way, and life got bad, bad, weird.
Hmm.
And that's where I really started to get heavy and I would say metabolically unfit. Yeah,
Okay.
that was
What
that was
kind
pretty
of
good.
foods do you think you were eating that kind of led up to that point?
Lots of bread, sugar. Yeah, we drink sweet tea all the time.
Yeah.
Coffee, and like we go to the corner shop and we would buy these instant coffees that you just push the little thing, you put the cup under the thing, push that thing down, and you get this giant cup of mess. It's not real coffee. It's
Yeah.
I don't even know what to call it. They call it cappuccino. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows what's actually in it? But it had coffee flavoring. So I should drink that up real good. And then also I was a smoker at the time, so there was a lot of things not going well for that.
Yeah. We have a lot of similarities because I used to be a smoker. Like when
Uh,
I was in my 20s. I lived down south in Florida for a long time, like for 10 years, and sweet tea was something I would actually drink.
mm,
I never really thought about it in comparison to like Coke and stuff like that. I actually thought it was a little bit better, but honestly, it probably was just as bad as maybe drinking Coke, so you kind of started with that, I guess, in your 20s, and you kind of lived up with that up until now, right?
well, I imagine it probably started earlier in life where we had less money and we would eat
Mm-hmm.
stuff like, you know, cornbread and beans and rice,
Yeah.
when I was really young. So we laid the foundation of it much, much earlier, but
Right.
it started to catch up to me by then. And
Yeah.
then we would also go out and, you go to a restaurant, Chinese restaurant, you can eat as much as you want to in rice, it's
Hmm.
all you can eat, right? And so, you pay your $5.99 and get unhealthy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I used to, sometimes go to those all you can eat places, but I stopped that. What about like were you ever like with keto tracking ketones or doing any of that? Um,
No, I didn't bother with it. I just uh, took out most of the carbohydrates, and I figured that everything else take care of itself. Didn't bother tracking anything.
yeah. And who are you following, or where were you getting the information about the low carb diet?
Oh, at the
Who's
time,
your influencer? Yeah. In the first,
oh,
say
at
like
the
the first round when you tried it.
Oh, well, I'd say the first round was when I was about to get married. I would say that. But I mean, not the first round of carnivore, but the
Mm,
first time that I went low carb was with my
hmm.
wife before we got married. And
Right.
at that particular juncture, I just said, this is what I'm going to try and we'll see what it does. You know, and
Okay.
it wasn't that I was following anybody in particular, but earlier on when I was in Kansas, we no, sorry, we had just moved away from Kansas back down to Arkansas.
Hmm.
We had joined the church there, and they were fond of doing like the quote Daniel fasting thing, and so we picked that up and we tried the mostly just eating vegetables and that, and so we did that a couple of times. And I thought, well, I'll just apply that, but then I'll keep the meat. And so we cut out everything at that particular time when we were about to get married. So we cut
Hmm.
out everything that was bread and potatoes and carbohydrates and such,
Mm,
starchy foods like corn. I said we're not going to eat that, you know, and then we'll eat greens and veggies and stuff like anything that's not high starch, and then we'll also eat meat. And we tried that, and it worked really well. I didn't have to bother tracking anything. But
yeah.
my first round of carnivore, I had begun watching uh, Sean Baker and
Hmm.
Ekberg and Kelly Hogan, and I
Right.
was inspired, but I also wasn't well informed. I was just doing it because I thought, well, why not? And so I went kind of dirty on it, and I didn't check and make sure all of my oils were clean and that I wasn't getting sauces and stuff around, because around here you got MSG out the wazoo, and
Hmm.
that's I'm really sensitive to it. And if I eat it and if I pass my threshold, I don't even know what that threshold is, but it's small. Yeah. But as soon as I pass that threshold, my head feels like it's exploding and I lose all of my strength.
Mm, okay. Yeah, and with me too, it's like I don't really eat out too much, so I don't really get a lot of that. I mean, were there any kind of medical issues? I know you kind of mentioned some of the things before, with your leg. I mean,
Mhm.
but was there like with your blood work, was there anything that was like abnormal
No,
or?
no, my blood work always comes back fabulous. But then I have
Mm,
learned since then that their baseline is not good, right? So when you go
yeah,
to the doctor, they take your baseline and they compare your health to some nebulous baseline. Who knows what it actually is, right? And is that
right.
actually metabolically fit or no? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So the averages are kind of basically, you're taking the averages from sort of like a sick population, a lot of people who are on the standard American diet, so, and then you're
Hmm.
trying to compare it to the low carb community.
Yeah. I don't even know if they could compare that to say elite athletes because the stuff that's in their system, right? And how can they compare that? Then you have to take that from the average, say the average American, right? And then if you take that average, uh, do you know that that particular average is metabolically fit and healthy, and whether or not they're going to have a long lifespan? Well, you don't know.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. We don't, we need more research about that. And, that's probably something hard to do. And then,
Yeah.
yeah. What about your like cholesterol now? Has it, with you going pretty much zero carb, has that gone up a lot? Like, have you heard of like lean mass hyperresponder? Or you in that category, or is it
Well,
normal?
I've heard of it. I haven't actually done any research into it personally, and
Mm,
I also haven't gotten my blood work done since I began this because
mm,
I feel fit, I feel strong, and it hasn't been really valuable to me. Although it may provide some insights. Like I said, when you don't even know what the baseline is, you know,
hmm.
well, I don't know how valuable it actually is to go and get my blood work done.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my doctor usually wants to put me on a statin anytime they see my blood work. That was something we actually didn't talk about in our meeting
That's true.
before, but yeah,
It slipped my
following
mind.
that. Oh, it's okay. Okay.
But what is
So
yours like? What is your blood work like, or does it matter to you?
no, it's good. I mean, I like to do it because actually I was even paying for it myself, not necessarily going through my doctor because I wanted to kind of like I would eat a certain way. Like when I started paleo, I was doing blood work, and then after I started keto, I did blood work shortly after. And then, prior to keto, my blood work, I guess I would say my total cholesterol was probably somewhere around 200. LDL wasn't too bad. Probably like 100 or yeah, like maybe 100, 120.
Mhm.
But yeah, when I went keto and I did my blood work, it shot up a lot. Like right now, actually, I think the last one I recently did, which was in early July. I probably fasted too long for that. I was probably fasted for 20 hours and my total cholesterol was like five something. And then my LDL was like up to like three something, somewhere around there. So it was very high. But I mean, my
Nice.
triglycerides was 55 and my HDL was like 115. That actually has pretty much been the same. Anytime I do my blood work now, it's pretty much in the same ranges. It doesn't really change too much. And
Hmm.
everything else is good. So, like my fasting glucose is good. Hemoglobin A1C is all good. That's kind of fine.
Hmm.
So, yeah, but yeah, that's been good.
Nice.
So, yeah. So tell me why did you choose the name Bold Carnivore?
Oh, that's a good question. I chose that because honestly, I'm not very outgoing. So
Mm-hmm.
it reminds me to not be timid in the way that I chase after something. Or if I want to go and look for someone to interview, I need to go and chase it down.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to follow out a story, I got to stand on it and I got to be able to back what I say. It's just an encouragement for myself.
Okay. And I mean, had you previously done any kind of like social media or like YouTube videos prior to this, creating your channel on YouTube, or is it just
Mm,
something you just want to kind of share your story and work with the
Yeah,
community and stuff and kind of get other people's stories out?
that right there is actually the motivator because I want to help this community and I want to be a part of it. It's growing in me and I want to grow in it, right? It's
Right.
something that I didn't expect to enjoy. I didn't know. I didn't know that I would enjoy it. I didn't know that I would have any kind of place in it. And it seems to be something that I can fit into. And I'm not the odd one out in this case, because I've always enjoyed,
Hmm.
grabbing the piece of chicken and eating it and all the bone and everything. That's not unusual for me.
Yeah.
But now that's all I do. I don't eat the rice and stuff that goes along with it. So in some ways that again makes me the odd one out. But in this community, I fit. And that's something that I haven't tried before, like putting my face on a YouTube. I'm trying to get out in front of something and find a place in it because I've never really tried it. And honestly, like I said, I'm not really outgoing for like socialization. I've always been
Mm.
more of a closed in kind of guy. Like I said, my body is stiff probably because I'm stiff inside. It's probably one of those mental perspectives. I take it a physical characteristic. I don't even know, but
Yeah.
I've learned that while eating this way, I'm a little bit more mentally flexible and more accepting of others, and I'm harder to stress out, which is also good. And I think that that's lent itself well to this new perspective. And I'm going to continue to pursue it. So I think it's really good.
Yeah. Did you find like mental clarity? Like, were you experiencing some of the similar things that people who are on the standard American diet kind of experience? Like with my with me doing it and the way I was eating before, having brain fog, anxiety, stuff like that. Did you have any of that?
Oh, I
Or
still do.
you,
Yeah,
yeah.
I still do. Yeah. I think that there's honestly some deep parts of me that still need healing. So
Mm-hmm.
with conversation, that's never been a horde. I don't lose my place in conversations. I don't lose my place reading a book, that kind of thing. But like lines on paper get me, like spreadsheets. I,
Mm-hmm.
I can't focus on that kind of thing.
Mm.
And then there are numbers. I don't do numbers very well. Math, it's not my thing.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of things that I still need to recover and or get strong at. And so it's not like brain fog perhaps, but more like
Mm-hmm.
uh, there are certain mental stressors that still bother me.
Okay. All right. And like, say when you were on standard American diet or the way you were eating before you prior
Mhm.
to doing carnivore, what was like your favorite thing to eat? What what were foods that you craved the most, you felt
Okay,
were?
that's also a good question. Donuts, yeah.
Yeah, donuts,
Waffles,
okay.
pancakes, pizza, yeah. Which is terrible because I can't stomach it. It hurts my stomach real bad to eat stuff like that. And then when
Yeah.
I try to sleep, I'm drowning in my vomit, and you get that acid reflux or something like that. And that's recent too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when I was younger, that didn't happen. But now here I am in early 40s. I'm like 44 this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if I'm laying down to sleep and I've eaten a piece of pizza, my stomach starts to release acid up my throat. I'm like, oh,
Mm.
it is not pretty.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
can you take us what you eat every day? Like, do you eat the same thing every day? Do you try to mix it up? What kind of meats are you eating?
Good
What
questions.
kind of oils are you using? What kind of fats, stuff like that.
Mhm. Nice. Okay. Well, as far as fats go, I'll use butter, olive oil, coconut oil. We use saw palm oil. That's pretty standard in Indonesia, but also in my understanding of it, it's a low omega-6 acid thing. So I'm not really
Mm-hmm.
terribly concerned about it. And for food, I know I'm still expressing that I'm the odd one out in some ways because I never get bored of food as long as
Mm-hmm.
it's good food. So I can eat eggs every day. I can eat 10, 15 eggs. It's not a big deal to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right now I'm about up to between 12 and 15 eggs in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, eggs, man, I'll eat it. Chicken, I eat lots of chicken and beef. Um, yeah, I just put some butter and black pepper on it and salt. Most people in the carnivore scene that they tend to shy away from stuff like black pepper. I understand why,
Mm-hmm.
because after being carnivore for 5 months now, going into my fifth month now, pepper is actually volatile. It's strong. It's a lot stronger than
Yeah.
you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of stay away from using black pepper. I just once I started using Redmond's real salt, that was pretty much it for me. I just kind of stuck with that, and steaks. What's the most popular protein there in Indonesia?
Oh, chicken.
Chicken, okay.
Yep. You get
Anything
chicken and
else
fish.
or fish? Okay.
Yep.
And they're
They
probably,
like,
I think, oh, go ahead, sorry.
sorry, I was going to say they like beef here, but they like it in small portions. They don't really like it a lot. And then most people
Mm,
won't touch pork. So
mm, okay. You probably have a lot of big Muslim society there, or
that's the
yeah,
case. Yeah.
yeah,
Just about every restaurant you go to is quote halal. So
yeah,
it's hard.
yeah.
Yeah. And the pork prices out here are astronomical because there's not really demand for it.
Right, that's true. Um, and what about there? I mean, how is like is it low carb a thing kind of in where you are, or is that
Sure.
something? Do you see that kind of trending, or is it or is
It's
it
trending upward. It is. It is trending
yeah,
upward. It's not a big scene here just yet, but it is definitely trending upward.
mm.
Yeah.
And what are
Because
your ultimate?
rice is a staple food, so it's hard to get to go
Yeah,
low carb.
yeah. I don't know. I've been watching some videos recently that have kind of been talking about like white rice actually being okay. I mean, I guess it's, whatever goals you're trying to obtain and whether or not that's going to hamper you. Like they were saying, brown rice was, of course, a lot worse than white rice. So I don't know. Have you seen anything like that
uh, Actually, most of
about,
the stuff around here, um, a lot of them are going towards the brown and the red rice.
really?
And
Okay.
yeah, I
Mm,
would say that's probably healthier to a large extent because it hasn't been broken away from all of its earthy fibers, and you get a lot
right.
more nutrition out of it. The white rice is just bare carbohydrate. And so while you
Yeah.
get more energy out of it, you don't get as much nutrition out of it. So it's hard to parse whether that's good or bad. And especially since now I've learned that fiber in and of itself is basically a carbohydrate anyway.
Hmm.
So, but then I don't eat the stuff anyway. So I don't
Yeah. Okay. And
know.
what are your do you have any kind of goals that you're kind of trying to go for? I mean, in regards to like weight loss or are you really just kind of trying to heal your current ailments and stuff like that?
Mm. Yeah, that's actually my goal right now is just getting healthy and fit. And I'm not pushing too much in any one particular direction. I'm not trying to beef up or anything just yet because
Hmm.
I want to get as healthy as I can first before I start seeing if I can pack on some muscle or whatever else I'm going to do because I want to be able to be healthy and move and I want to see what this diet does in and of itself. So I'm not training too hard because I don't want to overstimulate and then have to look back on that and go, well, was that the diet or was that because I tried to do 15 chin-ups? You know,
Mm, yeah.
so that's why I test until I feel my limits. Like when you see one of my videos where I'm doing, say, push-ups, or if I'm doing a pull-up, or if I'm doing a hold or an L sit, I do it only until my muscles go, okay, that's it. And then I stop. I don't push any more than that. And
Hmm.
maybe the next day I'll come back and try it again and see if I can go just a little bit further. But I'm not like training to failure or trying to do supersets or anything because I just want to see what my body does.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't really. I mean, I do work out, I guess, a lot. Not too much, not like I'm spending hours and hours in the gym, but one thing I noticed being carnivore is that it was very easy to kind of lean out or, kind of build up some muscle without really having to go too crazy on it, with the
Mhm.
exercise and stuff. So, yeah. And your wife, she basically eats what you eat, kind of, she,
Oh, she's reduced her carbohydrate uptake, but
mm,
she still eats the standard fare around here for the most part. If she wants a noodle, she'll eat it. If she wants rice, she eats a little bit. So I'm not like pushing her to do it my way or anything. I'm just saying,
yeah,
you'd slim down real fast if you just ate the carnivore style. And she'd be like, well,
yeah.
it's all right. And I leave it alone. If she wants to eat, she'll eat. And if she wants to eat her way, then she eats her way.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of break the addiction from, like the ultra processed foods. Like my mother
Yeah.
was asking me about like losing weight and she eats a lot of fruit, which I mean fruit I think is okay, but just, the amount that she's eating is just like way too much.
Hmm.
And she always sometimes she'll eat it by itself. without even having any fat or protein first. So, her
Mm.
blood sugar is probably going up a lot. So, sometimes it's hard to, when people have been eating a certain way for so long, to really change that mindset.
Mm. Yeah, I've learned you have to have a personal why. If you don't have a personal why, then you're not going to stick at it. You're not going to stick to it. You're not going to look further past what this moment is.
Yeah. And what are like your other plans, I guess, with Bold Carnivore and just kind of doing some more interviews and
Yeah, I'm doing more shorts. I'm trying to get in some more long form content. I have several interviews lined up. I've got an interview with Brian from who's that one? Whew, I think that's intentional carnivore, I think.
mm,
And then I've got one with Bart K coming up.
hmm.
And let's see. I got some more stuff with Dave Mack and Pipe, but I haven't got any more information on that just yet.
Oh, okay.
I've contacted a few other friends, like the Carnivore Ballerina, and
Hmm.
we're gonna get something set up because her story is just fantastic. I'd love to see it. So
Yeah.
yeah, like that. I also have some more shorts coming down. Like I said, I'm going to do some more in perhaps a comedic style. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, she's part of Dr. Sean Baker's group on Rivera,
Which one?
the Carnivore Ballerina.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see the rest of the story though, because I haven't personally
Yeah.
seen it. So I'm trying not to see it because I know that she's done some interviews because she told me so.
Hmm.
But I want to be surprised because I want to have my genuine reaction to what she says.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because I've
that's
seen some of her photos off of the Instagram, and I'm like, or no, not sorry, not Instagram, but X. And so I'm like, well, that's going to be a great story. So I don't want to spoil it for myself.
right. Right. I was actually, I was honored that you actually reached out to me to do our interview. So thank you for that.
I saw your stuff there on the Instagram, and I was like, you know what? I think he's probably got a story.
Yeah. Yeah, like before, I would honestly, like posting pictures of myself like that, it's like my anxiety would, just wreak havoc on me. It's like, being on social media. But I think it's important that, and I think it's great that people are willing to share their story to kind of let others know. Doesn't always have to be, you don't have to be on medication, all the time and kind of suffering and having all these different kind of things happening with you and going to the doctor's office and all that stuff and,
Oh yeah.
getting medication.
Mm, I do. I really do. So, for one thing though, I did see your pictures there on the Instagram, and that's one of the things that attracted me to the idea that you probably have a good story. But
Mm,
the pictures, I just wanted everybody to understand. I leave them alone. So if I don't have express permission and I haven't asked for it, I'm not bringing the pictures into the videos. So
yeah.
that's in case anybody's wondering. No, I don't borrow the pictures and put them in because I know
Oh,
some
no.
people load them that way, and I don't.
Yeah, no. I thought that thing that you did with Bart K, was it Bart K? Is that the person that you did that interview where you were showing the different images and he was kind of giving you his reaction to it?
Oh no, no, that's not Bart.
That
I
was
haven't done an interview with Bart yet. That's still coming up. That
oh,
was
okay.
that was Dave Mack from
Dave Mack, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
okay.
different thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun, right?
Yeah, that was good. That round of those photos and stuff. So
Yeah. Dave recommends.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Dave recommends. Actually, yeah, I've seen some videos with Bart K. Very he usually has that background, that kind of like that space background or the galaxy or some psychedelic background or something.
Yeah, because he does some wacky videos. Earlier I was
Yeah.
watching one with him doing stuff, and I don't even know what to say because he can get pretty wild. That's why I thought this will be fun. So
Yeah.
try it out.
That's good that, he so you have something scheduled or you
Yeah,
not
I got a
yet?
schedule for the fourth.
Okay. That's good
Yeah.
that he wants to do that. So is there like anything else you kind of want to let the community know? Any
Oh,
like lasting words about anything?
Sure, I do. Yeah. So, uh, we all have our ups and our downs. We have moments where we feel strong and we can face the world and take on everything, including tomorrow. But there are those times when we don't feel good or fit or for anything. Um, Sometimes we feel like we've done the wrong thing and lost our place in everything. But that's not the case. Just got to get up and try it again. You know, I don't have to call out anybody specific because everybody feels that way. Everybody has those times where they look themselves in the mirror and say, "You dog, why'd you do that? How'd you do that? How could it be you to do that?" I tell you what, forgive you, move on, get up, keep running, run towards it. You'll be all right. You'll make it. All right. Just be bold.
All right, thank you. That was great. And thank you for everyone for watching. Eat meat and thrive, and have a great day.